I'm waiting for the email. Content live. I should be live now. Now, why can't I see this? Let's say we're gonna YouTube. Good morning, by the way. Sign in. Next, check your device. Confirm it's me. Yes, it's me. Okay. Oh, no, I want to go to. Oh, come on. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to move you over here. I'm going to go to big cam here. Wah, wah, wah. YouTube.com. I changed the morning, Joe. I changed the category to entertainment, and I'm wondering if that screwed up some of my settings on OBS, but we'll see. Live, and we're gonna turn on save. There we go. Okay, boom, boom. Now I'll bring you back over to Safari. I've got my notes. Oh, come on. I got a lot of crap. Good morning, Cecilia. I need to put up so I can view myself here. Hit that thumbs up button like we always do. I'll move this over here. I want to look up 2-year, US 2-year, and then we're going to do charting. Can I not do this? Bum, 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 bum. Select symbols, and we're going to US 10-year. US 10. There we go. Okay, I'm going to take that out, take that out. Take that out, update chart, and then select metrics. There should be a yield. Debt, performance. Let's see. Yeah, I guess that's okay. Yep. John, you don't need to listen. You just described the entire podcast in one sentence. I mean, yeah. Nobody's showing up to buy the long-term bonds. Morning, Q-tip. Nobody's showing up to buy the bonds. The bonds are getting less expensive, yielding more, which makes the stocks go down. So it's ugly. It's ugly. Claim it back. I might have to, let's see, default workspace. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, shit's really down. Cleveland Cliffs down 1%. Apple's down about 1%. I mean, there's Microsoft, Netflix, NVIDIA. Is NVIDIA up? Nope. NVIDIA is down. Palantir is down at 15. Yeah, in fact, let's go to our pre-market movers on investing.com. You got Lumiere up 200%, NXU up 25%, Invo Bioscience up 150%, Alkaline Water is up 27%, Akumin. Let's be honest, you didn't buy these on Friday going, oh my God, there's something going on with Lumerix DX Limited, which was trading at 11 cents. Now it's at 31 cents. I will tell you, just a little preview. Anybody that, and I hope this shows up. Yeah, okay. I hope it's not like a paid one. No. It doesn't look like it's a paid one. Leon Cooperman, my favorite billionaire. I really like him. He is like, if you had a grandpa who you enjoyed going over and just sitting and listening to and watching, yeah, Leon Cooperman is that grandpa. This dude, billionaire, told a story about a year or so ago, and this is what endeared me to him. He lives in New York City. I mean, he's a billionaire, so he's got houses around the world and places around the world that he probably rents or, has access to or whatever. But his main residence is in, I think it's New York, just upstate, in Greenwich or something like that. But he talked about how his 18-year-old Honda minivan had something went wrong with it, and he had to get a new car. Dude went out shopping for a car. Didn't send somebody out shopping for him. Said he went out shopping for a car. And he said he didn't buy. He looked at Tesla, but he didn't like the price of the Tesla. He wound up buying a Hyundai minivan. And he said they gave the best price. He haggled for a fucking minivan. That's the dude I want to listen to. This is the guy that, and this is the headline, billionaire Leon Cooperman says the S&P won't hit a new high for years and house prices will probably fall. That scares the shit out of me. I'll kind of go over it, but John, you hit it right on the head. Here's the thing. 15 Mondays in a row. If we go back and we look at, let's just look at SPY. And we'll go and look at a daily. Okay. 15 Mondays in a row, you've had a green candle. I can point these out. You can go and look at it. I'm not going to look it up on a calendar. I read that headline. 15 Mondays in a row, we've had a green candle. All that means is that you opened up, you closed higher than you opened up. Bitcoin up 2%. It's almost at 31,000. Let's see. We're going to say this. Bitcoin. Mara. Okay. Yeah, I mean, listen. SPY on the daily, you're below your 200 day. Let's see if QQQ. I don't think QQQ got below the 200 day on the daily. That's the 4 hour. You are below it, but I don't think it's hit it below. No, you still got a ways to go. We're going to. Oh no, I want this bar. This arrow. We'll do this. Boom. 353. We'll print this. What the hell? SPY below the 200-day QQ. Where is my downloads folder? I learned something new. Desktop. Copy. Paste. Okay, hopefully that gets uploaded. You think the S&P is going down to 350, 3,500? That would mean 350 on SPY. Let's see. Let's see if long term. I think 3,500 on the S&P. I think that's too low. I mean, that would get you back to around here, October. That would get you to the October lows of last year, which would, more than Nevin, it's not crazy, but the economy is significantly healthier than October of last year. Sentiment, I should say, is significantly more positive than this time at that point last year. But you're not crazy in the fact that look at SPY. If you're saying 3,500, if we're saying that 3,500 is support, you're right about there. Okay, that would mean another 15% down. It's not crazy, but there would have to be significant catalysts on the downturn. Now, you do have catalysts. You've got, I have to turn on my do not disturb. You've got the war in the Middle East. You've got the war in Ukraine. You've got the deficit. You've got a house that has no speaker. You've got a dysfunctional government at the current time. You've got a number of different things. You've got the Fed, continuing to hike rates, inflation around. We're talking overall the whole view. I think you could go down there, but you still have the consumer being strong. You still have no real cracks in the armor. You're only at 5% on the 10-year bond, which isn't crazy. Christian, here's the thing that I always tell most people is I don't care how much history you have in the market. I don't care how old you are. A 4-year-old could predict the direction of the market with the same accuracy as any one of these freaking fools because it's a 50-50 chance. You've always got bad sentiment in the market. You've always got good sentiment in the market. So that's why the number one rule is don't listen to a douche on the internet. But it's about making an argument. And I think 3,500, I don't think you're crazy. I think could happen. My positive sense is that it won't. I think more realistically, to get to 4,000 on the S&P, would have to be there would be some support at 4,000. We'll probably break 4,000, but this is what, this is the rate of return. I mean, look at the 2-year, how the 2-year is taken off. I don't know how to get a yield on this. Growth. I guess this is performance. I guess that's performance, but because you did have the 2-year going up during this time, 2018. The 10-year just hasn't moved a lot, and it just hasn't. I mean, as this hasn't really come down that much. The 2-year, the 10-year has to rise in order to meet the 2-year, and that's what's crazy is if the Fed continues to do this. Alpha Dominance Quant beats Motley Fool's top stock picks for 22 and 23. Here, I need to send this to my parents. Let's see. Okay. Where's my OBS? There it is. But Christian, those charts, I mean, 3,500, I think you've got some support there. If we look at this, 3,500, let's remove this line. Remove this, okay. And we're going to go back to here, because this 3,500 would be about, that's 3,580, about midway point between the pre-COVID and the COVID pop. That's about 3,400 right there. 343. But that's a weekly chart. I don't think it's nuts to think that we get that type of. I mean, look at the recovery here back in March of 2022. You look at June of last year, how you peaked up there. This is a little bit more of a steady grind up, more like this bull market, and that's why I'm kind of thinking that this is just this kind of pullback, and that we bump up kind of like this. But the 50-day is still positive. The 50-day has not turned. You can see yet last year in March was when the 50-day really turned negative. If that 50-day turns negative, I think your 350 is probably correct. Unfortunately, that's going to mean that we continually slide down probably for the rest of at least a year in order to get that 50-day negative. Because it took what? Let's see, March through it took, let's see, when it really started changing was probably January, and it didn't make much sense. I mean, January you had this bump up, and then you came down in March back to where you were in January. So it's an interesting play. Yeah, but let's do some scans while we're here. Market scanner. Oh, come on. We're going to do some scans. And I do have a paid newsletter for those folks that are waiting for it. I do have it. I just haven't sent it. I'll spam you again. I got wrapped up. Listen, the Giants won a freaking game yesterday. So let's just say your boy was kind of celebrating a little. I was happy as F. I got to open up this as well because I want to talk about Tesla. This is a great thread by Gary Black, who is not a Tesla bear. Maybe a little bit of one. He doesn't agree with a lot of what Elon does. Makes some good points here. Future price cuts, loss in conviction about future growth. Interesting points. Super interesting points. Okay, let's see. I don't think we have anything. I mean, Friday was just a shit show, so I wouldn't expect a lot to come out of this. These scans. If you're new here, subscribe. I'm here every morning, giving you some type of entertainment, yelling at the dogs. Let me look up Seeking Alpha news. And you guys know from Friday, I can geek out on this trending news. Chevron to buy. We're going to, in free cash flow. We're going to put that in. Look at 10-year spreads. Leon Cooperman, my favorite. Chevron, there we go. Boom. Trending news. Let's see what else is here. Which magnificent should you be in your top portfolio? Huh. This is good. I like this. I like these kind of news articles. We'll put this up here. And those year-to-date ones. Oof. So it's at 626, and this was the headline that I read. I mean, 10 years just kind of. FMC plunge after slashing guidance, launches cost structure review. Walt Disney closed to deal with Reliance to sell India operations. That's going to be a boost for Disney. Tesla expected CapEx spending to top $9 billion in 2023. That's bringing it down. Datadog initiated at Guggenheim with mixed feelings. Shares down 0.8. Hut. That's a minor, up 5%. A lot of Bitcoin stuff. And there's Mara, up 5%, 776. It's only up 0.65. Or MicroStrategy. I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy that. And we're going to put this. I'm going to copy this article. Man, see, I can get news articles by just going to freaking Seeking Alpha. And do the entire podcast just on Seeking Alpha. I love this website. Okay, so we got the trending news. Core portfolio. I found this interesting. The core portfolio has a health score of 3.62. I found interesting that the trading portfolio has a health score of 4. 4 out of 5. Awesome. You have 9 stocks that are highly rated. Your portfolio valuation is grading is lagging. Yeah. Your portfolio is in the top 3% of all portfolios. It's not true. There's no way that quant rating is correct. Shopify, Netflix, DraftKings, Palantir, Ulta, PayPal, NVIDIA, SMCI. I did take Sedge out. We'll go over Sedge. Uber's a simple buy. Uber really is. Just buy Uber. Uber's a great stock to have. But we'll kind of go over that. Okay, let me see. We got it. Okay, nothing in brokerage holdings, nothing in core investments. Man, TrendSpider's a little laggy today. Wah. Who's got any stocks that they want me to go over while we're waiting? I did see. Let me see. We've got 3 people who messaged me over the weekend about stocks they want me to go over. One was rather random. One was super random. The other 2, Palantir and Morgan Stanley, got hammered. Morgan Stanley I do own. Okay, nothing in the core. Let's go over energy names. There should be something energy. Although energy's just, everything's just taking a leg down. Man, I joined Staples to get some type of benefit, and they just spam the hell out of you. Nothing in the energy names. This is kind of like Friday, man. I'm going to have to dig to find anything that crosses up. Nothing in the levered ETFs. Screw you, CNBC. Low-cost ETFs, spider sectors. Nothing in the spider sectors? Wow. Not owned. Let's see if there's something in here. There usually is for a big group that I have. There's nothing in this one. Nothing there. Wow. Let's go to the Dow. Jim Cramer, the hubris. Nothing in the Dow. Hoofa. Let's go to the NASDAQ 100. Is there nothing? Wow. Let's go to the S&P. I'll do the 100, but I may have to expand this to the 500. Larry! I may have to expand this to the 500. That's crazy. CHRW. WAT. Waters Corporation. Oof. Here, this is. Let's look for inverse Head and Shoulders breakout retest. SBUX. I like SBUX. I'm gonna put that in. NTAP. MSI. I'm not a big fan of Motorola. First Solar. I'm not getting into First Solar. AVP. No, let's look at opportunities. Let's see, MACD. We're going to do a MACD stochastic cross up. And it's PETWW, WAG. Let's not look at technology. Let's look at core investments. Nothing there. Let's look at the, we're going to look at S&P. Let's look at the S&P 500. Nothing. So nothing on the 4-hour has a MACD cross up and a stochastic cross up. What's this one? MACD on a 2-hour. MACD bull cross is on a daily. McDonald's. Inverse shoulders. Breakout. MACD. McDonald's is a and CVX. Verizon. This is what you do with TrendSpider. When you can't find anything, you're patient. But there are so many strategy testers that you can scan for in TrendSpider. Daily bullish engulfing candle. Let's just look at this in the S&P 500. Walgreen Boots. I would not invest in it. Colgate Palmolive. Lovely chart. It's coming from 69 to 73. Really good move on this one. CL. Engulfing candle. Bullish. If you want to find something, if you're really Philip Morris, I will not invest in. Abbott Labs, great chart right here from 91 to 97. Yeah. Engulfing. AT&T, bullish engulfing candle. Will that get back to its 200-day at 16? Could. I mean, they haven't killed the dividend. Merck, I don't like that. I don't like AT&T though. Merck, we took out of the core portfolio just because it's not performing very well. So I wouldn't put it in there. Daily bullish hammer. We can look at the S&P 500 here. You know what? Let's look at the Dow for the daily bullish. Because that's only 30 stocks. AMZN. Hammer. Okay. And we're going to go back to our strategy tester. And we're going to go to this. Bum, bum, bum. Okay. Show. Lucas, man. I think Lucas is my biggest fan. I appreciate it, Lucas. Kudos to you, man. Go run. Do your work. Get that capital so we can throw it. When this market turns around, I think we're gonna bull. We're going bull on this one. So let's start out with SPY. And we'll keep that around. Maybe we'll pull back here. I'm gonna go to QQQ on the 4 hour. Are we out of QQQ? Yep, you're out of QQQ. So let's go to SPY again. Okay, I'm going to start now. If you're new here, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm here every morning at about 8:30 in the morning. And I'm going to start my podcast now, which you can listen to on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any of the major. I think even Google has a podcast one. Slacker. You can find it. Just look up Daily Stock Pick or Stock Picks. I'm not sure which one, but it's a if you want any of the links, it's Linktree, linktr.ee/Daily Stock Pick. TrendSpider is my main charting platform that I use. You get my access to my 4-hour algorithm when you sign up using this link, and then email me and I'll send you the welcome letter with all of the scans that I use, all of the strategies that I use, everything. It will import it directly. I do suggest you sign up for 1 year. It is not a plug and play. Cecilia will tell you it is difficult to learn. But once you get the hang of things, it's plug and play. You can sign in. What I just did, there's 2 websites that I use. It's Seeking Alpha and TrendSpider. And I do use FinViz for a lot of general things. And I try and use FinViz specifically on this because for a free website, I mean, this gives you everything that you need to know. Absolutely 100 everything that you need to know. Look at crude oil. Natural gas is up, which means oil is going to be up. You can look at the insider buys. You can look at any of the headlines. You can look at the major news, like CVX is buying Hess. That's up there. Tesla, major news. Apple always has major news. You've got tech reporting this week. So, but Linktree has everything. If you want to support the podcast, the daily newsletter, which is dailystockpick.substack.com. You can, everything is free. It is free during the week, paid on the weekends, and I haven't sent one out this weekend, but for all the paid customers, I will send one out this weekend. Let's see what else is there. Visible, $20 off your first month of service. It's only $25. I mean, $25 all in for your service. And it's through the Verizon network. This is what I personally use. All of these Linktree links, by the way, it is crap that I use. AT&T fiber at your house. I have 1 gig service at my house. That's why I look so pretty right now. Tesla, if you're buying a Tesla, use that. You can Venmo me, PayPal, Cash App, whatever you'd like. Sign up for Venmo. Webull, the links for Webull are up there. So you can sign up for Webull, which is my brokerage, my secondary brokerage. My first brokerage is Fidelity. I love Fidelity. But my secondary brokerage is Webull. I put $1,000 there in the beginning of the year. It's at $2,355. 171 a share. Where is... $171 per share. Okay. I've got a lot of stuff. Okay. I got enough to talk about. Let's close this mofo. So, John, inverse ETFs. If you have TrendSpider, I have this levered ETF list. I think you can see it. Let me see. And the levered ETF list has all of the levered ETFs that I would normally trade. DRV is a bull. I think that DRV is the bear for the real estate market. SQQQ. Specifically, if you're thinking we are going down in SPY, I would probably play SQQQ. And the only reason I tend to trade, and I'm like you, John, I'm bullish overall. I do think we end the year higher than we are today. But SQQQ, if I mean the difference between SPY, QQ, and QQQ, QQQ has way more downside. And so SQQQ will probably go up more. Look at the buy. This was just Friday? No, it was Thursday. $19.18 on SQQQ on the 4-hour algorithm. You're at $21.08. There's your 10%. So I do think that you probably look at the VWAP up here at 24. So I think you've got, that would be one that I would look at. The other one, if you think that SPY is going down, SPXU, I would probably use the ones that have big volume. And the reason I would use the ones that have big volume is because if you do have some type of, say for instance, Netanyahu says, we're not invading. We're going to hold off and we're going to allow humanitarian and we're going to provide hospital services and we're de-escalating everything. This market will pop. It will absolutely pop on something like that. You don't want to be in a HIBS, which is a levered ETF on the down. I think HIBS is, HIBS is the bear. You don't want to be in this one. It might be difficult for you to get out of this one for your brokerage to actually find a buyer. So you might have a delayed sale in that one. But SQQQ, SPXL, SPXU, you'll find buyers for those. SDS, which is a ultra short S&P. You can use any of these. Specifically, one that I would watch, and this has been broken, and this is why I haven't brought it up, is UVIXI. UVIXI, if we go over to Seeking Alpha and we look at the VIX, you can just type in VIX, and it'll bring up the VIX, S&P VIX index. The VIX is at 22. If we just look at this chart, I'm going to go to charting. I don't care about this. I don't care about the S&P. What I do care about is look at this during COVID. I mean, the VIX was all the way up at 400%. So we can look at, let's select metrics. I just want to look at, no. Yeah, look at the VIX. If we just look at this and we look at the max, there we go. So you had your 2008 financial crisis, went up to 70. You had COVID, went up to about 65, 70, somewhere in that neighborhood. I don't think you're at that point, but this has been broken because during last year, it seemed to just displace itself. And you can see, is the VIX broken? So UVIXY, I've been a little bit scared of this one. But if we just look at UVIXY here, you can see that the buy-in here on TrendSpider was 17. It's at 19 now. You're over the 200-day. Your 50-day is moving positive on the 4-hour. Your MACD, you're up over your oscillator. Your RSI is at 62. I don't think it's crazy to say that we have more downside, and UVIXY, it would be up more. You're up 3% in the pre-market. So I mean, the market's just bad. So John, if you have TrendSpider, I would look at that list. I do provide that in the welcome letter. That would be where I would go to look at those levered ETFs. That and I would only use it. So say you have QQQ and it's in a taxable account. And so you don't want to sell QQQ because you are bullish for the long term. And you don't want a tax event. You don't want to trim it while you're going down. You really want to trim it while you're going up. If you push, oh God, Jim Cramer's on with the Hess and the Chevron CEOs kissing their ass. It's been a great stock. You've been a great stock. We bought you for the club. The club. That's a good strategy, Joe. And like I said, I think Bitcoin has completely separated itself at this point from the stock market. I mean, listen, the stock market's going down, Bitcoin's going up. So I think you've seen a divergence there. I think Mara in pre-market, it's up 3% at $8. I think when you announce a Bitcoin ETF, I think this one pops over 12. I think we get back over the 200-day in one day. I think that's how big that ETF announcement is going to be. And it could come at any point in time. What's CLSK? Clean Spark. Oh, these are data centers. Joe, you love these little small cap names. 378 was the buy. I don't see confirmation in this one right now, but the algorithm loses you 42%. Now, if we go to let's look at the 65-minute on this one. This one might be good for a 65-minute. Over 8 months, you make 19% versus the asset makes you 28%. You've gotten in and out 92 times. The 65-minute has you out. Let's look at GREE, Green Ridge Generation. 65-minute, you're out. Big candle there, 2.5% in the afternoon. The last candle of the day. This one's sold off. This is interesting. This Green Ridge, on the 65-minute algorithm, you make 35%. If you would have bought and held this one, you'd lose 27%. So that's an interesting one. Let's look at that in the 4-hour. The 4-hour, you lose 68%. You lose 98% with your over 2 years. We can look at a monthly of this one. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to start with the podcast now. But, John, hopefully that makes sense about those levered ETFs on the downside there like that. Let's look at SPY here. There we go. I love the MACD. Have I mentioned how much the MACD is awesome? Hold on. Yay. Okay. I'm going to start. But your boy is fat, by the way. I ate an entire block of cheese and 3 tubes of saltine crackers while watching football yesterday. I'm up to 13.4% body fat, which is crazy. I am 174 pounds. I need to get back down to 165. So I will be going running today. And I don't care how much pain my knee is in, but I will be running on a track, trying to avoid hills. Slow runs. But let's start out. There we go. Okay, I'm going to hit record. Good morning. It's Monday, October 23rd. I was just announcing on YouTube that I am now fat. I ate an entire block of Walmart cheese and 2 sleeves of saltine crackers yesterday while watching the Giants win. The Giants win. In Tyrod we trust. You give a quarterback $140 million and all of a sudden he becomes less. Listen, I'm praying that Daniel Jones does not get some type of injury that his neck sounds significantly more severe than I think the doctors are getting. But go Giants. F the Eagles. They won last night against the Dolphins. This is my talk on sports betting, so I can write off the YouTube Sunday ticket, because we do talk about sports betting on this show. Let's talk. The Dow futures tumbled today, and they tumbled. They were up last night. We were up a little bit. Nothing crazy. They tumbled. You know why? Because the bond rate, the 2-year bond rate, is still 5.11. Let's go over to Fidelity, because we're going to look at those bond rates. It suddenly went up over 5%, the 10-year. The 10-year is driving this market, and I said it on Friday. It is 100% driving this market. If you want to know where the market is going, watch the 10-year. The problem is, in U.S. Treasury, here's the 10-year, 4.96. There's the Treasury zeros, 5.16. So it's over 5%. There are no buyers showing up. Japan doesn't want our bonds. China doesn't want our bonds. So the problem is the yields go up so that they can sell them, and the Treasury and the U.S. government need to sell more bonds in order to fund our debt. So where are the buyers coming from? That's the real question. And as you continue to go up, the market will continue to go down. It just can't support things. When we talk about SPY, we are now below the 200-day on the 4-hour algorithm. We've been there. We used it as resistance like I talked about. The 4-hour algorithm has you out. If you look at the daily on the SPY, we are now below. You will open up about 419. You are below the 200-day. Old support becomes resistance. So essentially here you see the MACD on the daily crossing down. The RSI is at 35. We just opened up. It's just 9:30 right now. That little red dot right there is the current candle at 419. You are below the 200-day. Old resistance becomes old support, which was the 200-day. You can see it bouncing here back a couple of weeks ago at the beginning of October. It now becomes resistance. So 420 is now your resistance. 419 is now where you're trading at. The past 15 Mondays, we've wound up with a positive candle. So if you want to buy on them today at 419, the past 15 Mondays, we've wound up green. Right now, we're green from where we opened up. Doesn't mean we're green where we're going up, soaring. It just means that this candle, you opened up. Let's look at TrendSpider. You opened up at 419.61. Right now, you're trading at 419.71. So, you're up. As that candle dips below 419.61, it'll go red. But there's some significant moves in the market. If we talk about QQQ, and I'll put this in the newsletter, you have one of the people on YouTube, Christian, was saying, "Hey, I think we may go down to 3,500 on the S&P. 3,500 would put you way down on the S&P. But if we just look at the daily on the QQQ, if we were to get to the 200 on the QQQ, you still have about 4.5% to go down, which makes sense." Again, on a daily, on the Qs, the 200-day is not crazy to think that we could get there. You're negative on the 50-day. You're negative on the 9-day. You're negative on the 21-day. Your 200-day is still positive. It's not crazy to think that we'd go back to the 200-day. That's not a crazy pullback. It is 4.5% away. So we may still have downside, because look at it this way. Where's the good news in the market? The good news is that the consumer is still strong. The good news is we are in earnings week, and 30% of the S&P is due to report this week. And so if we get good earnings, that just may lift us out of this downturn. If you start to get some negative sentiment, that may continue this downturn. Look at this daily on the QQQ. You have no confirmation. So my point on Friday was be very, very careful. And we'll talk about it when we get to the scans at the end, because it's clear. The scanning, when you scan in TrendSpider for strategies, typically my scans are very bullish, and it's looking for stocks that are in bullish move. Well, we got to the scans on Friday, and I couldn't find anything that was in a bullish move. What happened today? You'll have to wait till the end. But just spoiler, there wasn't a lot. So I had to find different strategies to actually find stocks to recommend today. The biggest reports this week, Google reports this week. They report, today is the 23rd. This is tomorrow, post-market. Google has a decent valuation. It's not crazy. But what are they going to announce? Are they going to announce that AI is costing them more money? Are they going to announce that their search revenue has gone down because ChatGPT-4 has gotten so good? What are they going to announce? We don't know. I continue to say anything under 130 on this stock is a good price. If we go over to FinViz and we look at Google and you look at the valuation of it, the PE is 28, the forward PE is 20. Remember, traditionally, a forward PE should be about 17 or 18 for a decent stock on the S&P. This is at 20. This is implying that we're going to have incredible growth over the time. You're up 54% year to date. So don't think that we couldn't pull back here to the 100s if we get a war in an invasion from Israel, if we get Hezbollah invading from the top, if we have to get involved in this war. Don't think that 100 isn't out there. But long term, I think anything under 130, you're perfectly fine. Even at 136, here's the thing. If you're going to buy 2 shares, say you have $500 and you're going to buy 4 shares of Google, what's that, $20 between 136 and 130? Big deal. I mean, think about it in that sense. If you're investing for the long term, and that's what I want you to do. This week should 100% be absolute long-term buys. You should not be gambling in this market because the market very well may have significant downturn. Who else is reporting this week? Microsoft. I think they come out tomorrow as well. Let's take a look. It is tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow after the bell, October 24th, after the bell. So Microsoft, if you think Google's going to announce, well, our search revenue is down because ChatGPT, who has the biggest investment in ChatGPT-4? Google, Microsoft, and they have Bing. Maybe they announced we saw a 30% increase in Bing searches using ChatGPT-4. Our Copilot is going gangbusters. Maybe they announced something like that. The other one that's reporting. By the way, let's go over to Microsoft because this one has run up. The forward PE is 25. The PE is 33. This one's only up 36% versus Google, which was up 54%. So the valuation is up there. The average target price is $396. You're trading at $326. But what do they say? It's always a gamble around earnings. Another one that's reporting this week, which I particularly like, is Meta. We ran all the way up to 330. You're at 307. I continue to say anything under 300, you should be buying this. The problem with this one is spending. And is Mark Zuckerberg going to say, we just spent $40 billion creating the new headset? Well, nobody's going to freaking put on a headset other than, it is cool. It is for the 1%. It's about a $500 gift. It will be out for Christmas. People will start buying it. What Meta's trying to do is jump in front of Apple's Vision Pro. I don't think they will be super successful, but they don't want 100% of the market. They don't want the Apple fanboys like me. These guys report, I think it's Wednesday. Yep, Wednesday after the bell. Now, if we look at Meta, this is where you get a little bit crazy. The forward PE is only 18. So if this continues to grow, you've got a great opportunity here. Here's the problem. You're up 156% year to date. So they will have to continue to grow. The average target price is $284. It is well below where you're trading right now, but that includes some old targets. Most of the recent targets are about $350 or so and above. So there's a significant move up in this one. I continue to say I think we're going back to the 400s and 500s on this. You can see that double top on FinViz at about 325. That's where you're topping out. That provides resistance. What will provide support for that will be a blowout in the numbers. And if he doesn't spend a ton of money, and if he talks a good game, and if he says Llama and AI is coming, and the chatbots, we have unbelievable movement in the chatbots, Meta will be a buy. And I continue to hold this at about 300. Could it dip back down to this gap between 228 and 213? If that effer, Zuckerberg, comes out and says, you know what? We're going to put every last ounce of profit into the metaverse. Yeah, this shit's going back down to 200. I don't think he's going to do it. I just don't think he's going to do it. Amazon reports again this week as well. Amazon is on Thursday after the bell. This is the FTC. This is the suit with the FTC and breakup. I don't see a negative for this. It is at 124. I think anything under 130 on this one, great price. I think it's been unfairly beaten up. The RSI is at 35. I think this one is the outright winner in any of the AI stuff because they now have support. So if you choose AWS as your cloud provider, they give you support to run AI models. Llama, Facebook's. Yeah, Facebook runs. You have to use AWS. So there's a lot of positives in this stock. The FTC, if they break them up, you get an AWS stock. And you can sell off the consumer stuff that loses money. So I don't think this is crazy to think. General Electric is reporting. And I wanted to bring up on Friday GE Healthcare, which was a breakout stock. It got separated from this. GE is reporting. This one's slumping. But this one, you can see this has been this is up 62% year to date. The PE, the forward PE is 24. The PE is 12. So they're expecting great growth. If you want to short this one, I think that might not be a bad idea. You could probably short it. This one's not in the core portfolio, but one that is reporting that is in the core portfolio as far as industrial goes is Boeing, 179. And they report on, it looks like Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday pre-market. So you'd have to buy it. I continue to say, add this one under 200. I know Joe tells me, hey, it's a mess. They just supported Spirit Aero Systems, which was up like 20% last week. They report this week. I don't expect crazy blowout. It's not going to 200. This is a long-term buy. You had the death cross, and you can see when the death cross happens how incredibly powerful that is in a stock that has negative news. This is slid from 222 up here where you bought, and it got you out with a 2% loss right here in September 5th. Now, the algorithm actually does really well with this. And when I say really well, the algorithm over 2 years, 24 months, it makes you 3%. That may not sound a lot, but when you look at what you get with just buying and holding this stock, you're down 15%. Your average win is 12% on this stock. You only have 26 positions over 24. So buy it once a month and you're making 12% on average, or 3%. In a market like this, this is not a bad stock to hold. Now, the news that you're going to have to deal with is probably bad for the short term. You can see this is a weekly chart. Down here, there's a gap of 156. We've covered this already. You've covered this in all of this area. So there's no real gap. My guess is that we're at support, but I don't know. I mean, I'm adding more of this. I'm not getting rid of this. I did get rid of Sedge, but I'll go over why I got rid of Sedge. Boeing is not a Sedge. Boeing has significant cash flow, and I think they're doing well. I just think they're getting wrapped up in headlines. If you do want to trade one, General Motors reports on Tuesday, and Ford reports on Thursday. General Motors is the first one, and I think it's pre-market tomorrow. Let me see real quick. It is, pre-market tomorrow. This one is at 29. They were touting this stock at 40. I see this one as an absolute mess. The strikes, I don't see GM being very well managed. But if you want to trade this one, I don't think that you'd be horrible to think if you wanted to short it. I mean, what are they going to say? Hey, our company's in strikes. We're making good improvement. You're not out of the strikes. So those are the big earnings this week. Here's a good Seeking Alpha article that I'll include in the newsletter. Which Magnificent 7 stocks should you own? So if you want to talk about, which ones I like, Meta and Google, Microsoft, I like these stocks. Here's the year to date. Look, Alphabet's up 52%, Amazon up 46%, Apple up 38%, Meta 147%, Microsoft 36%, Nvidia's up 189%, Tesla's up 96%. So read that article. I like this one. We'll close that. This is the VIX. I was looking at UVIXY because UVIXY is a big winner. Let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's up almost to 31,000. This article right here, biggest stock movers today. Crypto-focused stocks rose in pre-market. Bitcoin surpassed 30,000 threshold on hopes that Bitcoin spot ETF will finally be approved by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC. Notably among top gainers are Riot, Marathon, MicroStrategy, Hut 8, Bitform. I will include this. This has all the links for all the stocks that you can trade around Bitcoin. Bitcoin has diverged from the U.S. economy. And it's just this paragraph right here that I want you to look at. This is just the biggest stock movers from Seeking Alpha. Now let's talk about one of my favorite billionaires, Leon Cooperman. And this is an article that I read over the weekend. Billionaire investor Leon Cooperman says the S&P won't hit new highs for years and the house prices will probably fall. He's probably right. I mean, this is the problem that we've talked about is you're in a trading range. And if we look at SPY for a long term, let's look at SPY on let's look at it on a weekly basis. Because that's what monthly, I think you're just a little too extended on a monthly. But we talked about this being support down here around 350. Well, I did on YouTube, around 350. That would be a 15% pullback. And that would be right around the October lows of last year. I think this trading range of this high that you had in 2022 at 481 on SPY, that means 4,800 on the S&P. Tom Lee is saying, hey, we're going to hit 5,000 by the end of the year. I don't think so. I think you're probably looking at this trading range between 3,500 or 350 and 470. I would say that 462 that we bounced off of just in July or June, I think that's probably the top that you're going to see unless you get some type of catalyst. And that's the problem is right now on the weekly, you can see the MACD is moving down. You've got the RSI at 42, so you're not completely oversold. But you do have a 15% downturn here that could move down. So Leon Cooperman, my favorite billionaire, and the best indication, the best story I have of Leon Cooperman is him going out car shopping. And the guy's a billionaire, so he could send somebody car shopping for him. He had an 18-year-old Honda minivan that he loved, and he had to get a new one. He said it just broke down, it's too old, and I had to get a new one. Dude went and haggled for a Hyundai. Yeah. That's why I like him. I mean, this is everybody's favorite grandfather who just happens to be a billionaire. I think he's a little more in step than Buffett. Buffett and Munger are up there in age. I don't think that they've lost anything, but they don't give great interviews. Cooperman, great interview. I really like him. Let's talk about Tesla. This is a great Tesla thread. And Gary Black, I think he's a Tesla bull long-term, but I think he's a bear short-term, and he gives some really good reasons why. And everybody was saying, hey, Elon was very negative on the call. He was. He called the Cybertruck, they dug their own grave. How can you not be, negative on the stock when somebody says, hey, we dug our own grave with the Cybertruck? I think that Cybertruck is going to come out, and I think he's going to come out with pricing that is somewhere in the neighborhood of $150,000. There's some VIN disclosures that came out from the motor vehicle department that perhaps there's two variants, a double motor and a triple motor. I pre-ordered the triple motor that was said to be $69,000. There ain't no freaking way this guy's getting me a triple motor at $69,000. He's going to have that at $120,000, $130,000. So here, this is a great thread. I will include this in the newsletter, and you can read Gary's reasons as to why he's bearish on Tesla. Tesla right now, let's look at it. It's in the core portfolio of Daily Stock Pick. It is down 3%. It's at 204. On the 4-hour algorithm, if we take a look at this one, the 4-hour algorithm does really, really well with Tesla. And we talked about the convergence here where it lost support. And I said, if you want to trade this one, you can get out. We've got a gap here on the earnings between 242 and 232. You're going to fill that at some point. But, you're completely oversold. It's at 15. Does that mean you're at the bottom? No. I think you break 200. I think 100% you're going to break 200. This has too much downward pressure on it right now. Elon was negative. They are now allowing, if you have lifetime supercharging on a car, they want you to trade in that car and pass your lifetime supercharging onto a new car. That tells me the demand is a little bit light. But what happened is they increased their production and demand, while demand has been incredibly high. When they increased their production, they met that demand. Now they need to continue to increase that demand in order to supply with all of this production. It's hit a little wall. I don't want to say that, hey, get the hell out of this one. Remember, I own Tesla in XLY. I don't own it outright. I've been a little bit scared of this one, skittish. I have traded around it. I have made a mistake in the past by trading around it. But this one right now has no confirmation. The forward PE, remember we talked about PE being about 17 or 18? Forward PE is 51. The PE is 66. This is up 67% year to date. The average target price is only 219. It's not crazy. It's not 300. Most of the recent prices have been downgraded. Morgan Stanley, which is Adam Jonas, he upped it from 250 to 400 back in September. I think this is what you have to know about Tesla. Right now, with the reduction of prices, as he reduces prices, the margins get compressed. 1 year ago, the margins were 29%. Today, the margins, I think, are 15 or 16%. When your margins compress like that, you make less money. You have to make it up in other things. Elon wants to make it up in full self-driving, so he lowered the price from $15,000 to $12,000. I think he thought more people would take it. More people didn't take it. So the problem is he's not getting the increase in there. As you move your margins down, the market is valuing this as a car company. And we can just, FinViz, free website. Look at this. Your forward PE, 51. Let's look at the forward PE of a car company, 4 for GM. Look at it. Maybe Ford's a little better. It's 6. So that's where you're seeing Tesla get killed in this market. There's big money that's moving it downward. Does this mean you get out? I don't think so. I've made the mistake of getting out of this one many, many times. I just don't see this one as a get out kind of moment. I see this one as, hey, let's wait for confirmation so that we can fill this gap between 230 and 243. When the market starts moving positive, I think this one will start moving positive as well. You've just got many, many symbols and catalysts that are dragging this one down. You can see 91 cents per share, 66 cents per share. So you're going to see some movement down. But Tesla, in my mind, it's a long-term one. Again, the algorithm, the 4-hour algorithm, it has you out, doesn't have you in. Got you out with a nice 0.66, got you right out before the big drop, right before earnings. Got you out before that. So the algorithm got you out. The algorithm over 2 years, 24 positions. So it's about once a month, just like the other one. This one gains you 58%. Now, if you had bought 2 years ago and just held the stock, you'd be down 28%. So unlike in the past where trading Tesla, it was a fool's game. And I was one of those fools. I traded Tesla. If I had just bought the $68,000 I paid for my Tesla, if I just bought the stock, that would be worth almost $1 million today. Yeah, I was a fool for trading Tesla. But today, I think it makes sense with that PE so high, with demand going down. I think it makes sense to trade Tesla and listen to the algorithm. The algorithm makes you 58% over 2 years. Meanwhile, you lost 28% if you just bought and held. So I'm still a Tesla fanboy. I still believe in the company. I still think there's good things out there. I do think that there's an opportunity to trade this one. It's just not right now. Wait for confirmation. Hold. Be careful. Again, we're talking about being careful in the overall market, specifically with Tesla, because I think there's significantly more downside than there is upside. One, if you want upside that's already down, I think if Uber breaks 40, I think you just load into that one. I think you absolutely load into that one. Let's talk about the big buy of the day is Chevron buying Hess. Now, I say big buy of the day because it's just another big company in the oil and energy business buying a smaller company. They're buying Hess. Now, this is valued at $171 per share. So Hess is trading right now at $165. You're going to get $171 worth of Chevron stock. So you're really not valued that much. This one was down when the deal was announced. I just don't think you're getting a lot for this one. So unlike the PXD transaction, which is valued at about 257, and whoever got out last week at 255, kudos to you, because we see this button hook in PXD. I just don't think that the Chevron deal, what the Chevron deal provides is if you own Chevron, I think you're going to get a lot back. In fact, you're going to get significantly a lot back because they're buying Hess. It's an all-stack deal, and it will give cash flow that goes back to shareholders through an increased buyback, which they just announced, and an increased dividend, which they announced. So I like that one. Let's look at Sedge, because Sedge, I sold. I'm done. I sold on Friday. If you are, you can go over here to Linktree, linktr.ee/daily stock pick, and you can look at Savvy Trader right here. Savvy Trader is where I post all my trades. You can sign up for free. It's absolutely 100% free service. You can look at the two portfolios that I have. I have a trading portfolio and I have a core portfolio. Sedge is in this trading portfolio, and you can see we're up today because NVIDIA's up. DraftKings is up, PayPal's up. The shit stuff's all up. That has been moving. Meta's up. I got rid of Sedge. And if we go over here to history, my note on Sedge on Friday was I sold out completely. There's no demand. They have cancellation of orders. It's higher for longer. That's the killer. And Francie, I will get to your Rivian question. I will absolutely get to a Rivian question. But I'm recording the podcast. So Sedge, absolutely out. There's no, again, I probably should have sold. And when we look here, the algorithm got me out with a nice little gain back here July 24th, should have sold. There hasn't been any good news on this stock since that July 24th. And I bought up here at 270. So I took quite a big loss. Listen, when things start to happen and things start to move down, one of the weekly paid newsletter this weekend is going to be the psychology of getting out. And if you are down, say you lose 50% in a stock. Say you buy a stock at $10 and it goes down to $5. Well, that 50% loss, it hurts. It hurts a lot. And you're like, shit, maybe I should buy it, here. Here's the thing. When you're down 50%, it takes 100% gain to get back. And the stock market doesn't move like that. It will move down quicker on bad news catalysts than it will move up on good news catalyst. It's just the nature of the market. The nature of the market is for a stock to move 100% up, it has to completely change thesis. And unfortunately, I don't think Sedge is anywhere close to changing thesis. And that's why I got out. I got out with a loss. It's a $1,000, $1,800 loss. I don't know what it is. Doesn't affect my lifestyle. I didn't put a ton of money on this. I will continue to sleep at night. Just make sure that when you're trading, you're smart about what you're trading and you know your losses or wins. Social requests. D. Zachary Noah from Spotify wants me to look at Morgan Stanley. It got crushed last week on earnings. I own Morgan Stanley. The financials just overall got completely crushed. Morgan Stanley is just one of those. If you own Morgan Stanley, I don't want you to get out of Morgan Stanley. I think Morgan Stanley is still a quality company. I think they have quality earnings. I think they're just getting wrapped up in the financial world. You can see the average target price is still 97. You can see today a downgrade from Odeon. Their target price is 79.15. You're trading at 72. It's still up from where you are today. Wolf Research, October 20th, just last week, they moved it from an underperform to a peer. UBS moved it from a buy to a neutral with an $84 price target. The problem with Morgan Stanley is they're just having a problem integrating the TD Ameritrade or the E-Trade buy that they did. And it's just, I don't want to say get into it because the chart doesn't tell you to get into it. The chart tells you to stay the hell out of it. Wait until you have confirmation on that 9-day. Remember, this algorithm is built to protect you from big downturns. Lost you 3% here. Lost you, 2% here. The algorithm loses you 29%, and you lose 29% with just buying and holding. It's a financial. Your average win is only 5%. I think I own this in the 90s, 80s, or 90s. I'm holding. I'm not getting out. I still think it's a quality company. I just think that we've got some problems with it. Shane wants me to look at Palantir. And Palantir is one that I've traded. It is in the trading portfolio. It is here in the trading portfolio if we just look at the trading portfolio. And I recently moved it into the core portfolio as well. Palantir is currently, what is it? Let's look at all. Palantir, I'm up 7.59% on. Palantir, as far as the chart goes, you've lost. It got you out today with a 6% gain on the 4-hour algorithm. The RSI is at 33. This is a long-term buy for me. I didn't look at this as a short-term buy. I think this is a $25 stock. They report earnings November 1st. I think it's usually after the bell. It's pre-market, November 1st. So I think you're oversold on this one. I think if you wanted to add this and it's under the 200-day, I think you're fine adding this. I just think it's in nature. The reason it's going down is because it's just run up so much. I think when you get this closer, if you get this under 15 at any point in time in the next few days, I think you buy it. I think you buy it under 15. I think 15.50. I think you start to add to it because you don't want to be, out when all of a sudden Microsoft or, Google says, hey, Palantir, great stock and we're going to partner with Palantir. Or, they come out and they all of a sudden have the deal with the United Kingdom healthcare. I like Palantir. I want you to hold it for at least a year. I don't care what price you buy it. I want you to hold it for at least a year. That way you get long-term capital gains. That's my plan with it. So Shane, I hope that makes sense. Now, TC Energy. Let's see. I read something, Tristan from Spotify. I read something of TC Energy winning a new pipeline deal from northern BC through Idaho to northern Cali. Seems like a larger project. I lack access to more info. Would be great to hear you mention it. So TC Energy is TRP. Let's look at TRP. Market cap 33 billion. Not huge. Mid cap, not that. Forward PE is only 11. 8% dividend on TRP. You can see it's moving downward. I don't know anything about that news, but if you wanted to read news on that one, I would read it down here. It looks like they cover it fairly well. We don't have any insider transactions, which is good. Your float, your shares outstanding, 1.02 billion. Your short interest is 11%. So that's a rather big short interest. I see upgrades. Your average target price is 54. You're trading at 33. It's an energy stock. What do? They engage in provision of energy infrastructure services, operates through the following business segments: Canadian natural gas pipelines, U.S. natural pipelines, Mexico naturally. I mean, this is a pretty big company, it seems like. They have 7,477. If we look at TRP on the chart, now, I don't know anything about that pipeline deal. I think you're going to have to do your own research on that, Tristan. I'm more interested in, hey, is this a good investment? Right now, I would say there's something going on with this stock, and I don't know what. Just from an overview, it's an energy stock. Why is this one tanking while all of energy is going up? There's something inherently wrong with the stock. The algorithm has you out. Nice 0.29% gain right there, but it has you out. You don't have confirmation. Your RSI is at 40, so it's in no man's land. Your MACD is crossing down. You have earnings coming out on November 8th pre-market. If you wanted to invest in this, I would say find a price that you're comfortable paying for it. Because I think with this stock going down, short interest at 11%, there is something inherently wrong with the stock. And that I can't view on an overview here. So I would say 100% investigate that one. Now, Francie on YouTube just asked me to go over Rivian. I like Rivian. Here's the thing. I love the trucks. Love everything about it. Old resistance turns to new support. We've broken that old support. That support right there at about 17, we broke. So I'd be very careful with Rivian. Here's the thing. They lose $30,000 per vehicle that they sell. They sell a vehicle for $100,000. They're losing $30,000. They just issued new bonds. I think this one is a $30 stock with hype. Right now, you don't have the hype. You have to wait for the hype. They have earnings coming out November 7th. So they will have their November deliveries on usually November 1st, 2nd, 3rd, depends on when they actually do it. But they will have the deliveries. They've announced that they've delivered, I think, 30,000 vehicles to Amazon, but they want like 500,000 vehicles to Amazon. So the production is slowing. The costs are getting to them. They just issued those new bonds to get. This company's not running out of money, but it's significantly expensive. And if you don't have a PE because they're losing so much money, but if you want to value this, look at the price to sales, 5.31. Let's just look at Tesla. Tesla on a price to sales is 6.8, but they're making money. And that's the difference. When you start making money, that price to sales, you can be at 6.8. You're not losing money. But Rivian, it's just an expensive stock. Don't think that this is another Tesla that's going to 400. The valuation on this one will not allow it to go to 400. Year to date, you're down 9%. There's 13% short interest on this one. So I don't think that you look at this one the same way you do as Tesla. It's just not going anywhere. Now, here's the thing. If you like the look of the Cybertruck, if you like the tech that is in the Cybertruck, Rivian is not your thing. If you like a traditional truck if you like a traditional a crossover SUV or the expanded SUV, whatever they call it now, Rivian is your thing. Rivian is the way that you're going. Next year, they will start introducing the NACS charging, which is the Tesla charging, so they can start using the Tesla network. That's the key. Anybody that has a car will tell you, an electric car, the key point is the electric charging network. That's the key. So, Francie, I would probably stay out of Rivian until you have confirmation. Like I said, old resistance turns into new support. Old support returns into new resistance. So your resistance is going to be around that 17 mark. I think you probably get down to this 15 mark right there, where we see the last buy-in before you ran up here. You're going to have to have a change in the market to see anything. Now, scans. We're going to look at scans. I went over on Friday how negative ETFs, the negative levered ETFs, all had cross-ups. We talked about SQQQ specifically being a great entry here at $19 on October 18th, which was just last week. You're $21. You know, here's the thing. Remember I told you how 15 Mondays we wound up with a green candle? We're again green. We have now shrunk the losses. There are stocks that are turning positive. NVIDIA is up 1%. So I want you to take and just keep an eye on this market, because I do think it will turn quickly. And I think with the bond rates specifically, if they start coming down, I think that's where you start to take a cue and you start to add to it. Now, as far as the scans, there were absolutely no stocks that came up as bullish on the 4-hour algorithm. So I used other scans. This is the great thing about TrendSpider. Oh, by the way, shocking news, and I will have, those of you that are long-term listeners know that we had just 2-3 weeks ago a crazy good sale on TrendSpider. It was $250 for the elite level, which is what you need for my algorithm. It was $250 for a year. That is the price for that essentially. Here we go. That's without. That's without any of the discounts. We're going to go over here, and we're going to use my link, and you can see, and we'll go over to product and pricing. Just shocking news, by the way. The $250 price for TrendSpider very well might be coming back. So I will have an exclusive offer for the elite level, and it will be $250. So hold off for that. If you want to sign up, hold off. Wait, it probably will be later this week. But again, we had nothing. And the great thing about TrendSpider is you can find other strategies. So if I just want, let's look at Head and Shoulders. We're going to look up, here we go. Let's look up here. And we're going to look up Head and Shoulders, because inverse Head and Shoulders in force. We can look at this is a sample scanner. Let's see. I guess I haven't imported it. But Starbucks. We'll just look at the symbol. Starbucks here. I like this chart. Now, I like this chart long term. I've said this before. Anything under 100 on Starbucks, I actually like. Their earnings are coming up November 1st in the pre-market. That's a catalyst for the stock. I think they'll announce something not significant, decent. I think you'll probably see the stock pull back to this 91 level. I think that provides you pretty good support. This yellow line right here is 97. That provided some support there. Got you out. That support. Remember we talked about resistance, old support becoming resistance. This is now the resistance at 97. But I do think that you get this up to 100 at some point in time. Great company. If you buy coffee, there's that one. Now we can look at, this is the MACD cross up. We just type in MACD. Let's see. Daily. Why can't I type? Daily. Let's see. Why don't I have them now? I guess there we go. I don't have subscriptions to it. I guess I don't. But let's look at McDonald's. So I was on here looking at this stuff. McDonald's, it has a daily MACD cross-up. A cross-up on the daily MACD. Now, my algorithm is on a 4-hour. So you can see the MACD on this one, on the algorithm, came on October 11th. Today you have a MACD cross-up on this one on a daily. That's bullish for this stock. So if you wanted to buy it at 256, I do think that you get back to this 200-day at 281. McDonald's, great stock. I think in a downturn, people will go to McDonald's because, I mean, let's be honest, you can feed your family for $5 at McDonald's. Now, CVX, we talked about this one. This one is down 2.3% at 162. This one had a daily MACD cross-up. Now, the algorithm winds up getting you in at 165. You're probably out. You're hitting your 200-day on this one. I'd probably stay away from this one. Again, this is down because they announced the Hess deal. Verizon. I can't believe that Verizon is still paying their dividend. They have earnings coming up this week, October 24th, tomorrow, pre-market. This one had a daily MACD cross-up. You can see right here, the algorithm got you in at 31.28. You're at 31.46. Will they announce something crazy like, oh my God, we're doing really well with Visible, which, by the way, sponsors the podcast right here, Visible. It is your phone service. Anything, if you're paying anything more than $25 a month, click on the link on the link tree, and your 2 plans. And this includes taxes, fees, everything. Visible, $25. Visible, $35. It was $45 a month. This is now $35. I have the $25 a month plan. I love this plan. I don't use anything more. In fact, last week when I was in Philly, I was using mobile hotspot to do this podcast. So Verizon, cross up. Colgate-Palmolive. This one had a bullish engulfing candle, which, you can see Colgate-Palmolive, and that's on a daily. This $70 right here on the algorithm, $70 was the buy-in. You're at 72. Nice what? 1-2% gain. I like Colgate-Palmolive there. Abbott and Colgate-Palmolive, by the way, if you use toothpaste from Colgate or anything like that, buy stocks in companies that you use. Abbott Laboratories. This is one I'd probably stay out of it. As another bullish engulfing candle. We talked about confirmation. See how this one's moving positive and you're over the 9-day? Unlike some of the tech stocks that we see. This one's moving positive, has confirmation. So you want some positiveness. AMZN. We talked about AMZN last week. AMZN, they're having a weight loss drug come out. And if it gets approved, you're looking at probably a $400 or $500 stock. This is like Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly stock has been crazy. AMZN, daily bullish hammer candle. Now, I'd probably stay away from this one because we talked about it last week. You're seeing that button hook that I always like. Now, the Bollinger Bands are cinching up. And when the Bollinger Bands cinch up like you did see here, you can move from 258 to 270. I think this one has a lot of forward momentum. But I think right now with that MACD cross down, with that RSI moving down at 42, and their earnings coming up on October 31st, pre-market, I think you stay away from this one for the next couple of days, but see if you regain confirmation over that 9-day. I'd be a little bit concerned going into earnings that you're seeing a downward moving stock. So I think I've been on for an hour now. I've done enough. If you have any questions, this right here, Linktree, linktr.ee/daily stock pick. This has all the links that you need. TrendSpider, like I said, that $250 special is probably coming out later this week. Seeking Alpha, $50 off Seeking Alpha. I love Seeking Alpha. I have the core portfolio in Seeking Alpha, and I got this health score. What you do with Seeking Alpha when you get the premium is you just import. Say you have a Fidelity account. It will import your account and keep it synced up so that you can keep track of your stocks. The quant rating, look at this. Seeking Alpha versus Motley Fool performance. The quant ratings, the top 10 stocks, look at the returns. 2023 year-to-date in performance, Seeking Alpha's top 10 quant stocks, 52% gain. 2022, Seeking Alpha's lost 3%. Motley Fool lost 53%. Remember, the S&P was down like 12%, 11, 12%, something like that. The Seeking Alpha's quant ratings, top 10 stocks, only lost 3%. So now you can look at the top 10 stocks. Let's see, top 10 stocks for 2023. Here's the Seeking Alpha top 10 stocks for 2023. Let's look. Will there be a recession? Consumer spending. Let's see what they said. Is 20 bull market pick by quant? Oh, come on. Scroll down. My top 10 stocks for 2023, Ardmore Shipping, Valero Energy, top utility stock, ENGIY, ENGIE, ENGIY, top 10 discretionary stocks, PDD, MNSO, MOD, Pinduoduo, Chinese company, which owns a Temu, Minisu, Group Holdings. You can see he's just using the quant ratings from Seeking Alpha. So if you want to get into that, if you want to read that article, Seeking Alpha, $50 off right there. Click right there. If you want stocks, this Webull link, great opportunity to get stocks. I opened a Webull account at the beginning of the year. I put $1,000 in there. Right now I'm at $23.70. Biggest positions, by the way, are, let's see my positions. Apple's my biggest position by far. Caterpillar, Boeing, Ford, Spotify, Snap, Kraft Heinz, Google, Coke, Procter & Gamble, Starbucks, and Gap. GPS you shouldn't be in. I don't know why I'm on that one. But yeah, the daily newsletter, if you click on that, daily newsletter, I will send out the newsletter after this. I basically take my notes, put in some charts, do some things, and I will put the newsletter in your email box. It includes a link to the Spotify, includes the link to the YouTube video that I do every day. And you can see some of the stocks. Like we graded the daily stock pick core portfolio last week. It was 3.62. If we just go over to pick the core portfolio, 3.62 right there. So if you want any of that, it's on the link tree. Okay. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I've done enough rambling on. See ya. I think that's going to be like an hour. So hold on. I got to transfer it over. Oh. Over to my laptop. And let's see. Share. AirDrop. MacBook Pro. Now I'll look at your comments. Wah, wah, wah. How far down will Tesla go? Your guess is as good as mine. Remember, don't listen to a douche on the internet. I think if Tesla goes under 200, I think you load up. It started to turn around today. Looks like it opened up at 209.99. Got down to 202. I mean, it's going to use that 200 as a bounce. I think we've seen that many times before where it uses that two handle and it doesn't go down to the one handle. If it does, it slightly goes down there. But I think you'll see that one go down there. Go girl. Remember the thing is, no matter what anybody tells you, it's just a guess. Dan Nathan on CNBC hates Tesla. In fact, he bought a Ford Mach-E and he will he will never come out against Ford, but he sold that Mach-E or got rid of it. He leased it and then said, forget about it. I don't want it. So he will never say anything positive about it. He's saying the Tesla's going down to the $50, $40 range. I don't think that's reality, because I think the Tesla probably has significantly more. But in the newsletter, I've talked about Tesla's revenues from different areas. And I think as they grow their services revenue, I think you'll start to see it viewed as a tech company again instead of a car company. Right now, it's viewed as a car company, and it's going to continue to go down until he can prove that they're a tech company with full self-driving. And I think what you see happen is, I was hoping it was going to be before earnings, but I think over the next couple of weeks, as you see this stock dip down, I think that fucker's going to bring out version 12 of full self-driving. And I think myself and Joe will be like, woohoo, full self-driving version 12. And you'll start to see some craziness. He put out a video of full self-driving on version 12. It was pretty impressive, I got to be honest with you. And the difference, by the way, between version 11 and version 12, version 11 still uses the stacks, and it still uses some in-car kind of optimization. Version 12 uses artificial intelligence in the Dojo network to actually make decisions, interpret what's on the cameras through artificial intelligence, and then make decisions based on that. So it's significantly better. Tesla has the miles driven that they can get the data from. So, yeah. But we're seeing some pretty good movement in stock market. I'm seeing some green in the core portfolio now. I mean, Devon Energy is still down 1.5. You can see Boeing's back up over 180. That's a green candle. If we look at SPY, I think SPY is a green candle right now for the current one. Yep. We talked about SPY being, Monday being a good one. It opened up at 419.61. Right now it's at 421. So you're up 2 points. It's not crazy. You're still down for the day because on Friday you closed at 421.21. Right now you're at 421.10. But it's in an upward. I mean, if we just look at a 5-minute, we'll go to a 5-minute SPY. I talked about positiveness. I mean, you can see the slide, but here's the 5-minute. This is where you opened up, right at 9:30 right there. 418, 419 right here. So you opened up, you gapped down, you filled that gap, and you came back. Now, you still, your 50-day still moving negative. Your 200-day still moving negative. Your 9 and your 21 just turned around positive. So that's on SPY. Remember, it's all about perspective and the timeline that you're looking at. Let me look at Okta. I went over Palantir. Let's look at Okta. Okta had a breach. This is what you have to know about Okta. Okta had a data breach that they announced that one of their customers was significantly breached. And so that's the gap that you're seeing here on Friday, all the way down. So from 75 to 70, I guess. Let's see. You closed at 75.56. Today you opened up at 69. Your low on Friday went down to 73.55. So you've got that gap between 69 so far. You'll fill it. I think Okta, you'll start filling it if you want to buy Okta. I'm not a huge believer in Okta long term. I do think that they do very well, but they're not making money. They're losing $591 million. Cash on hand, $12. So they have plenty of money. I don't think they have to dilute at all. Year to date, you're up 1%. The average target price is $95. You're trading at $69, $70. So I don't think it's crazy. August, they brought it up to 75, brought it up to 91. Here, this is, I don't know if I can read this on the Wall Street Journal, but let's see, Wall Street Journal. They're probably going to ask me for money. Yep. I ain't a paid member, so I can't read it. Okta, these stocks are moving. security breach puts sales risk. Okay. Scott, you crazy. You crazy. Hold on 1 second. Dog is crying. What do you want? You want to go under? I'm not moving her out of bed. You can take this bed. See, she took the other one. You don't have to both be in the same bed. I think you're crazy to think that Tesla is going to go down that low. But let's take a look at the long term. Since everybody's interested in Tesla, I think when I put Tesla in the title, that's when I get most views and stuff. I mean, look at the monthly. You're hitting the 50-day. Right about 1 night. This is why I say I think 200 is going to provide some support, because I think that 200-day does provide support. Here's what you're seeing. See that Bollinger Band kind of cinch up right there? You saw it cinch up, and then it just took off. And this is a monthly. We can go to a weekly. I typically don't like looking at a monthly because I think it's too broad. But if we look at the weekly here, you're kind of hanging around that 200-day at about 211. The 50-day looks like it's not really crossing down. If you do have that death cross, I mean, you can see the MACD is kind of pointing down. The RSI is at 43. It's not crazy to think that you jump off, that 200-day jumps off upwards, but you're just not seeing confirmation of it because you're way down here. You're below that 9-day. So I just don't think that there's a reason right now to jump into Tesla. I think you could dollar cost average your way in there. But do I think that this 103 right there, if we look, where's my, okay, we're going to bring this, not from 2016. We're going to bring this up to 2020 when Tesla really became kind of the jump. Probably 2018 was probably really the jump. But around, it really became a meme stock and kind of stuff like that around, and Elon became really famous around this time when it was really soaring up. So we have our volume weighted average around February 3rd, 2020, right before COVID really hit. Your VWAP is at 175. I don't think you're crazy to think that it goes to 160. I just don't think that's likely, because when I look at who's holding this and where, the majority of people are still holding in this $50 range. There is a significant volume shelf around 180, and you've got one right here at about 200. I think that 200 provides you enough support that if you wanted to jump in a little bit, because you don't have any, I think 200 is probably the level that I would say go in at. But again, I'd be a little bit skeptical of hey, when are we? I mean, look at the earnings. You're looking at $1.07, 76 cents, $1.05, $1.19, then 85 cents. You go back up to 91 cents, and that's what brought this one up. Then you're back down to 66 cents, but you haven't seen that downturn yet. So I'd be a little bit careful. You're on the bottom end of that Bollinger Band. Okay, I am going to go do the newsletter. I'll have the free one out this afternoon. Maybe tonight I'll have the paid one out, because I love the paid subscribers. Hopefully you guys get stuff out. I really want to do it about the valuation and why I got out of Sedge, how I don't see Sedge coming back, where I'm going to go back into, take that money and put it back into, just hint, probably SMCI. I like SMCI. I think this one, again, I think this one has this gap in its range. I don't think that that's crazy to think that that gap gets filled. But let's see, SMCI. Let's see if they have any news stories as to why it. Here's a Motley Fool article. Let's continue reading. Oh, it's just a video update. Maybe we'll put this one in. Put in my notes. Okay. I'm out of here. I had some coffee this morning and my stomach is rumbling because I didn't eat anything with it.